Good morning, and welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Society of Albany, affectionately known as Albany UU. My name is Sam Trumbore, and I serve as the minister of this congregation. Happy Mother's Day to all those who identify with that term. I am deeply grateful for all that my mother was and did for me to help me grow and develop into the person that I am. Though she's been gone now for about 32 years, she lives on in me, and I hope I honor her memory with the way that I live my life, have parented, and have been a good relationship partner to my wife. Today, I'd like to expand beyond the term mother to a more gender neutral word, nurturer. Nurture clearly overlaps with mother, but goes beyond it. Nurturers offer love, care, and support, not just to children, but to all sorts of people. And nurturing goes beyond physical needs to include the growth and development of the mind and spirit. So today, let us honor mothers as a subset of a broader class of nurturers, a class we can all participate in small and large ways as we join together in the celebration of life. And our prelude this morning is What Wondrous Love, American folk hymn, and our musician is Chris Bystroff, and he did this really cool blend for us to enjoy. As Meredith comes forward and lights our chalice, let's do the words that you'll see in your order of service or on the screen here. Welcoming all free seekers of truth and meaning, we gather to excite the human spirit, to inspire its growth and development, to respond morally and ethically to a troubled world, and to sustain a vital and nurturing religious community. Let us sing our first song, Just as Long as I Have Breath, and our song leaders are Randy and Chris.
Good morning. Our theme this month is Nurturing Beauty, and today we Albany UUs celebrate our annual tradition of the Flower Communion, sharing beautiful flowers with one another. In the park, a few blocks away, the city of Albany is celebrating its annual Tulip Festival, and all across the country, people are celebrating Mother's Day, a holiday which can be both happy and hard, especially after this intense past week of debating ideas, feelings, and laws about motherhood and reproductive rights. Let's acknowledge that this can be a difficult day for a lot of reasons, and also reflect on the truth that nurturing and caring grown-ups are so valuable to our children and youth and can come into their lives in a variety of roles, genders, and titles. I invite everyone to take a moment to think about someone you've known who nurtured beauty or showed care and support to young people. Perhaps you yourself have been that person. For all the providers of loving care here today, thank you for all that you do. And now I will read our wisdom story about a minister who tried very hard to nurture his church community, who were coming out of their very own hard times 99 years ago. Our wisdom story today is the First Flower Communion from Sunday and Every Day, My Little Book of Unitarian Universalism and A Lamp in Every Corner. And today we are going to celebrate our Flower Communion. If you have brought flowers and have not yet had a chance to bring them up, now is your opportunity to do so. Please just bring them right on up the stairs here, and we've got empty vases that we can place them in. If you are joining us on Zoom, just have your flower or flowers nearby and feel free to hold them up on screen so others can see.
These are beautiful. Each of us is a flower with a delicate beauty unique to each of us. May we be like sunflowers, turning always toward the light. And what I'm going to do is say this sentence that we'll repeat at the end of each of our words that we say. May our lives bloom like flowers. May our lives bloom like flowers. Great.
We may be like the night blooming cereus, only displaying our fragrant petals when it is dark and we think no one can see. May our lives bloom like flowers.
May we be hothouse flowers, far from our native lands, cautiously tended within a harsh and unfamiliar climate. May our lives bloom like flowers.
We may be gray-headed like dandelions, eager to launch the new generation with the first strong gust of wind, past our own bright youth, but ready to pass our wisdom on in precious gossamer-carried seeds.
May our
lives
bloom like flowers. Some of us sometimes spring up overnight and fade in the hot glare of the sun. May our lives bloom like the flowers.
Some of us sometimes are like roses, slowly assembling petal after tightly wrapped petal and revealing our full glory only when everything is in place.
May our lives bloom like the flowers. Sometimes we are roadside weeds, loveliness bursting improbably from the dust and debris. May our lives bloom like the flowers.
May we offer our beauty with the simplicity of flowers, expecting no recognition, hoping for nothing, giving out of what we are, and knowing it is enough. May our lives bloom like the flowers. Thank you. It is now time for our children and youth who have Sunday morning RE groups to head on up or down, as the case may be, to their classrooms. If anybody is not certain exactly where to go, I'll be in the hallway in just a moment. Thank you all so much.
All right. Have our Facebook friends showed up yet? Yes. Welcome to our Facebook friends who are joining us this morning for our congregational service. My name is Sam Trumbore, and I serve as the minister of this congregation. And we are celebrating nurturers today. My first reading is Our Passion for Justice. It's an excerpt by Carter Hayward. It's a classic. Love, like truth and beauty, is concrete. Love is not fundamentally a sweet feeling, not at heart a matter of sentiment, attachment, or being drawn toward. Love is active, effective, a matter of making reciprocal and mutually beneficial relation with one's friends and enemies. Love creates righteousness or justice here on earth. To make love is to make justice. As advocates and activists for justice know, loving involves struggle, resistance, risk. People working today on behalf of women, blacks, lesbians, and gay men, the aging, the poor in this country and elsewhere, know that making justice is not a warm, fuzzy experience. I think also that sexual lovers and good friends know that the most compelling relationships demand hard work, patience, and a willingness to endure tensions and anxiety in creating mutually empowering bonds. For this reason, loving involves commitment. We are not automatic lovers of self, others, world, or God. Love does not just happen. We are not love machines, puppets on the strings of a deity called love. Love is a choice, not simply or necessarily a rational choice, but rather a willingness to be present to others without pretense or guile. Love is a conversion to humanity, a willingness to participate with others in the creating and healing of a broken world and broken lives. Love is the choice to experience life as a member of a human family, a partner in the dance of life, rather than as an alien in the world or as deity above the world, aloof and apart from human flesh. So ends the reading. And this meditation from Denise Levertov, titled Beginners, and it's dedicated to the memory of Karen Silkwood and Elliot Graulia. Let us turn inward to receive these words. From too much love of living, hope and desire set free, even the weariest river winds somewhere to the sea. But we have only begun to love the earth. We've only begun to imagine the fullness of life. How could we tire of hope? So much is in bud. How can desire fail? We've only begun to imagine justice and mercy, only begun to envision how it might be to live as siblings with beast and flower, not as oppressors. Surely our river cannot already be hastening into the sea of non-being. Surely it cannot drag in the silt all that is innocent. Not yet. Not yet. There is too much broken that must be mended. Too much hurt we have done to each other that cannot yet be forgiven. We've only begun to know the power that is in us if we would join our solitudes in the communion of struggle. So much is unfolding that must complete its gesture. So much is in bud. Let us take these words and our own thoughts, reflections, and prayers into a time of silence. On Friday morning, April 29th, while I was doing the Times Union Sudoku after breakfast, I was not planning to be a nurturing caregiver. Philomena, Andrew, and I are very independent, self-sufficient people. I was very surprised to hear my name being screamed from our bedroom. I found Philomena on the floor near the window in intense pain, having fallen off a chair. Something was clearly wrong with her leg, and she couldn't get off the floor. That began a series of events that required me to step into a nurturing role for Philomena. We've never quite had that kind of relationship before. Her pain meant that she couldn't move around very well or get to the bathroom. Suddenly, I was taking care of her every need until we decided to go to the emergency room on Tuesday. We needed to find out the full extent of her damage. Besides, we found out she did have a broken leg, but we didn't know she had 2 broken ribs. A CT scan revealed the full extent of her leg fracture, and that would require surgery to fix so that it would heal correctly. Let's just say that I've spent a lot of time at Albany Med this past week offering care and support. Such is the way many of us get thrust into a caregiving role without much preparation. A health crisis, and suddenly everything changes. A stroke, a heart attack, a fall, an accident, and a loved one is incapacitated for who knows how long. And even planned caregiving events are full of surprises. Ask any new mother about the challenges of learning how to manage a completely vulnerable, tiny person not in control of their bladder or bowels. Ask them about learning how to breastfeed or how to prepare formula in a bottle just right. Ask them about suddenly being on duty 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even if someone else is helping. It is a new experience, being tuned to a baby's every sound, smell, and facial expression. Their heart now outside their body wearing diapers. To raise a healthy, happy child requires an enormous amount of time, energy, attention, wisdom, and money. Realistically, no parents can do this alone. They need the support of a network of caregivers. And the more the parents want a life away from their baby or other children, the more they will need that caregiving support. It is a rare human being who has the ability, desire, and the resources to be every kind of support that their child will need. That outside support will come in a variety of ways. Working parents need childcare. Most children get great benefit from preschool and kindergarten. Then 12 years of education, usually followed by college, and more and more. Just a bachelor's is not enough, and so that to land a good job, so that means they're likely to need postgraduate degree. Add good dental and orthodontist care, a pediatrician, hospitalization for sports injuries, and the foolish risks children take, extracurricular activities, play dates, time with grandparents, parties, emotional meltdowns, add it all up. And a great deal of caregiving happens for children until they can be out on their own. And most parents never stop being caregivers in their hearts, even if their children are fully launched. Supporting the growth and development of children defines one set of caregivers. At the other end of our lives, another large class of caregivers are needed to support the elderly. Philomena's sudden lack of mobility was a big shock for both of us. We have 2 steps that it requires to get into our house that created a barrier that we had to figure out how to surmount. Thankfully, our doors are just barely wide enough for a wheelchair to go through. But the first night after this break, she got up to go to the bathroom and thought she could do it by herself, except she fell and we couldn't get her up off the floor, and I didn't know what to do. It was a challenging situation, so we called 911 and the EMTs came and helped get her off the floor. But it's not just that kind of crisis situation. There's need for help with hearing, seeing, buying and preparing food, cleaning, medical care. The aging process demands all kinds of support and lots of caregivers to offer it. So whether we're children or seniors, getting nurturing support is wonderful up to a point. The problem for many Americans is our reluctance to accept it. My parents like to remind me of when I was 3 years old. They would be happy to help me with something that I was having trouble doing, but I would resist. I remember a toy truck that I got for Christmas that required plastic parts that you had to push into the metal body. I wasn't strong enough to push the horns on top of the cab. My father offered to help, but I said through tears of frustration, "Do myself." I expect we've all had either our own personal stories of moments like that, or watching our children go through it, or teenagers rejecting our well-meaning, nurturing support in the quest for independence and self-sufficiency. This can continue into adult relationships. Couples maintain a delicate balance between closeness and distance. That balance can be disrupted by smothering intrusiveness or inattentive neglect. We all balance our need for personal space and autonomy with the need for support and nurture. And few of us like to be told what to do and when to do it. That's especially true of Unitarian Universalists. So many of us love our independence and prefer self-care. Well, like it or not, all of us depend or will depend on others to nurture us or our children or our parents or our friends, family, and loved ones. None of us can survive or thrive without an elaborate network of support. Sadly, Americans have a varied history on our willingness to offer nurture to each other through state, local, and federal government. Today, with Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, Obamacare, and a wide network of social services that you can get in the state of New York, many can get their nurture needs met. Not all of them often, but the critical ones. But if you are poor and live in one of the southern states, that often is not the case. We lived in Florida, and you were on your own if you had any health crisis down there. Many there are unwilling to pay the taxes required to offer the kind of aid to their neighbor, especially if that neighbor doesn't share their skin color, or maybe they speak English with an accent. Many families can't make it on one income. A second income often requires low-cost, high-quality daycare that isn't available or affordable. We could have great daycare if it could be subsidized so that caregivers could get paid good living wages. Childcare is very important to helping our young minds, to help form young minds and bodies as they grow and develop. And I want to highlight the bias here. Some caregivers get special treatment. Philomena has gotten a lot of care over this past week from our medical profession. The one who got all the attention was the surgeon, who used a metal plate and some screws to set her leg. I mean, that's what, you go to the hardware store and you fix your plumbing. I mean, this is not rocket science. A team of people who supported him, I'll probably never know their names. Then the floor registered nurses and the certified nurses' aides and the social worker and the physical therapists, and then the young woman who cleans the floor, and another one who deals with the bedpan. Those last two don't get the special attention and appreciation they deserve for their critical function. And that differential has a good deal to do with their gender, their race, and their ethnicity, as much as the job they are doing and the place that they are doing it. The white male surgeon on the top, then the white female RNs, and then the immigrant black and brown-skinned women at the bottom, wiping bottoms. The jobs that require manipulating patients' bodies are the hardest and most dangerous jobs, yet are critical to help deal with what goes in the mouth and out the other end. to my mind, they are essential workers just like the others. And I have great appreciation for that role now that I'm serving in that role all of a sudden. It must be done when it needs to be done. And we have a crisis coming with the aging of our population and the declining number who are willing to do this difficult, heavy, sometimes dirty work. So many people want to age in place today, and that requires people to come in and help. CNAs are getting harder and harder to find when better paying jobs with less stress on the body and danger of infection are available. In the past, the extended family living together with many children served this role and shared this work. Today, so many unmarried people live alone without children or children far away. They live without access to the supports that they need as they age. This is an opportunity that I see for our congregation. None of us can offer all of the nurturing support needed by everyone in this congregation. But fortunately, we don't all need it at the same time. By receiving and sharing support, we create the community we all need, especially the more vulnerable in our midst. It isn't just the elderly, those at the elderly end of the spectrum I'm talking about. At any age, any of us can have that accident and have a health crisis, just as Philomena just did. One day, she was completely mobile, and the next, flat on her back. And the parents in our congregation create their own support network with each other. And some want to be grandparents with or without their own grandchildren. Our pastoral care associates are here to listen and to offer emotional support. Our caring network has lots of medical support tools that they share. Our caring network can bring food and offer rides to appointments. There are informal networks that form here to help with specific needs. Together, we create a caring community of our choice, rather than, and I think maybe even better than, the traditional family or neighborhood support of the past. While this sounds like a lot of work, there are tremendous rewards that go with that helping, getting cards, calls of encouragement, and having someone bring food and visit can be so comforting, and so when so much is uncertain when there's a medical crisis. That has been true for Philomena. I know that's been true for a number of other people here today in our congregation, and there is great appreciation for that support, and there's great feeling of satisfaction that comes from offering that support as well. As Carter Hayward put it well in these words that I used earlier, love is a choice, not simply or necessarily a rational choice, but rather a willingness to be present to others without pretense or guile. Love is a conversion to humanity, a willingness to participate with others in the healing of a broken world and broken lives. Love is a choice to experience life as a member of the human family, a partner in the dance of life. May we be willing to be present as nurturers and healers of a broken world and broken lives. May our experience of community here open access to experiencing life as a member of the human family. May we be willing to be life's partner in the only dance there is. So be it.
Good morning. I'm Meredith Andrews, and I'm the Service Associate today. An important way to celebrate each Sunday is by offering an opportunity to practice generosity. Members and friends support our congregation with an annual pledge paid throughout the year. Another way to support the good work of this congregation is by making a generous contribution as we pass the plate, or via one of the options shown on this next slide. If you are joining us virtually, you can click on the tiny URL link in the chat window to contribute, or you can send a text to the number shown on the screen. The examples on the slide show how to label your text to indicate the amount and purpose of your gift. We must now say goodbye to our Facebook friends. Consider joining us on Zoom next time, or visit us in person at 405 Washington Avenue, Albany. You can find more information at albanyuu.org. Our offertory music is All We Need Is Love by Lennon McCartney, musician Elena Karpov. We enjoy welcoming guests and visitors to our service. If you'd like us to tell us who you are and where you're from, those here in Community Hall should stand or raise your hand. The usher.
The breakout rooms will be calling in 30 seconds.
My prayer of affirmation comes from Naomi Shihab Nye, and it's titled Kindness. I encourage you to turn inwards to receive these words. Before you know what kindness really is, you must lose things. Feel the future dissolve in a moment like salt in a weakened broth. What you held in your hand, what you counted and carefully saved, all this must go, so you can know how desolate the landscape can be between the regions of kindness. How you rode and ride, thinking the bus will never stop. The passengers eating maize and chicken will stare out the window forever. But you learn the tender gravity of kindness. You must travel where the Indian in a white poncho lies dead by the side of the road. You must see how this could be you, how he too was someone who journeyed through the night with plans and the simple breath that kept him alive. Before you know kindness as the deepest thing inside, you must know sorrow as the other deepest thing. You must wake up with sorrow. You must speak to it till your voice catches the threads of all sorrows, and you see the size of the cloth. Then it is only kindness that makes sense anymore. Only kindness that ties your shoes and sends you out into the day to gaze at bread. Only kindness that raises its head from the crowd of the world to say, It is I you have been looking for, and then goes with you everywhere, like a shadow or a friend. So be it, and let us sing our closing song, Love Will Guide Us. And Randy Rosette's going to be our song leader for that.
As we extinguish the chalice, please join in the words shown on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Send us out from this place of worship to live lives of hope, to be nurturers of the vision of wholeness, and to serve as healers in this wounded world. All we ask in the name of those to come, in the spirit of those who have gone before. Grant us wisdom, grant us courage, grant us your peace. Amen. Try to decide announcements first or thanks first. The musicians are Chris Bystroff, Randy Rosette, Chris Jensen, Elena Karpoff. This is made for taller people. Ushers, Chuck Manning, Dawn Dana, Tammy Goddard. Our pastoral care associates are Eric Van Housen and Donna Meisner. Service associate, myself. Welcomers, Barb Manning, Elizabeth Barbaran. Greeter, Molly Daniels. Coffee host, Patty Jo Newell, Molly Daniels, and the board. Our office support was Tammy Goddard and Patience Bachette. Technical support, Kate Pierce and Fred Ames. Flowers. Flowers are donated and arranged by Peter and Debbie Brown in memory of their mothers, Winifred Brown and Gertrude Bailey, and in honor of their awesome daughter, Catherine Hindle, and equally awesome daughter-in-law, Natasha Brown. I have the following announcement that was submitted. Please join us and stay connected with your longtime friends and make new ones at the new Albany UU Virtual Circle Dinner. The Omicron variants continue keeping us wary, and many of us continue physically distancing, but we still want to keep in touch with one another. Sign up for warm conversation with a small group. All are welcome at the next Albany UU Virtual Circle Dinner Friday, May 13th, from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. We'll send you a Zoom link and assign you to a virtual table of 6 to 8 UUs. Get to know longtime and new friends while you enjoy your dinner or favorite beverage. We hope you will join us. Sign up by emailing John at johnsherman@gmail.com by Wednesday, May 11th. Please include virtual circle dinner in the subject line of your email. Anyone on Zoom who wishes to make a live announcement should please click on the raise hand symbol. The technician will cue you to unmute yourself and present your announcement. If you wish to make an announcement in Community Hall, please come forward to the microphone.